problem is the consumer still spent more than he earned, and the consumer spent more on necessities, right? All this spending, and it was 110 billion in spending increase. None of it went to eating and drinking establishments. Sales fell. Revolving credit now on a rolling 12-month basis is deflating. All right. There's only two other times we've seen that: 2008, 2009, global financial crisis, 2020 pandemic, and now. All right. And then you start to look at the consumer credit dynamic, where even consumer credit is kind of deflating. We have revolving credit deflating. You have eating and drinking establishment sales now year over year at below the rate of inflation, which the retail sales don't include inflation. So basically, you can see that too. When you're not going out eating and drinking, especially when McDonald's tells you we're cutting our menu items because we have less foot traffic and we need to maintain our margins. Wow. Doesn't that speak volumes? When you talk about people are going even to McDonald's less, which is the last gas place you might go to have a little bit of feel-good factor. There isn't that. And all the Fed's surveys of consumers show this too. New York Fed survey is a treasure trove of information, comes out every month. What it's showing us is now even the highest income level is expecting their income to grow less than inflation at a rate lower than inflation. Real income deflating even at the top level, let alone at the bottom part of the ladder of income, where you're talking 2 to 2.5% real deflation in income. So you can't support spending at the same time when credit card debt's greater than savings, the highest ever, borrowed at the highest interest rates ever, and delinquency rates are back to the second highest level in history, the last time we saw them here in 2008, 2009. So the Fed will be forced to cut rates to support the consumer, to support the housing market, to support the labor market. The only reason the unemployment rate hasn't risen is because more people are dropping out than are finding jobs. Okay, so this is a problem. It's just a secular structural issue here with the labor market. So, and you still see even with this, wages relative to inflation below 1%, pretty much across the board. So you have a choking consumer, you have a housing market in crisis, you have a labor market that's not as strong as everyone says it is, and the Fed is still restrictive. So they could easily come down to 3.5 just to get neutral against the 3% inflation. If they wait too long and inflation starts to rise, it's going to make it much more difficult for them to do what they probably should be doing right now. And if Powell is playing this off because of tariffs, he does have this out. It's a legitimate out for him, but you get the sense that this is more, that this is kind of mano a mano. He's not going to flinch until September. And Fed Governor Waller said, if we wait till September, it'll be too late. And he said these exact words, which I've been saying almost all year long: we'll be behind the curve. And the Fed is.